Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to the second episode of Modern and Modest from Durban to you. Alhamdulillah, last week we had a very informative episode regarding our health, our nutrition, our diets, and how best we could stay fit and hopefully increase our energy levels to help us cope during the month of Ramadan. Today's episode of Modern and Modest, we will be bringing you two very talented women from different backgrounds who share a different passion with regards to home industry. So our first speaker would be Radia Ali, commonly known as Ep02 Cuisine, and our second guest speaker would be Tasneem Mansoor, a mum of 3 kids, and she definitely has a story to tell regarding her journey to home industry. So let me introduce you to the lady, Radia Ali, and her daughter, Zakia. Assalamu alaikum, Radia, and thank you so much for making the time out today to Modern and Modest here in Durban.
Walaikum salam. Lovely to be here, Noshina.
Alhamdulillah, and I see you brought Zakia along as well. So thank you so much, Zakia, for accompanying Mum. I think you guys definitely make a great team with a mother and daughter team. And you'd be sharing a little bit regarding Mum's signature dish that we're going to be talking about. So, Radia, how did your journey begin with a home industry? What inspired you and why from interior designing to home industry?
Well, Noshina, my main career is the interior design and project management. I've been running 2 companies, and the culinary side of me is my other passion.
All right.
So it gives me such amazing passion to be in the kitchen. The talbina that you talk about is a dish that I created due to my father-in-law being diagnosed with cancer. Actually, that's when Ep02 Cuisine was launched 2 years ago.
All right.
My normal companies that I run is Digital Home and Decor and Ep02 Interiors. So that still carries on. I tried to juggle time to just follow through with Ep02 Cuisine.
Okay.
But the talbina was created for my father-in-law. He was diagnosed with cancer 2 years ago.
Okay.
And due to appetite loss and, weakening, not eating very well, I created this dish for him. Talbina is actually a sunnah.
Yes, yes.
It's a product made with ground barley.
Okay.
So it's not very palatable to everybody.
Yes.
So I decided to add on a whole lot of other ingredients and made it very nutritious for him. Okay. We lost him last year, so he succumbed to his cancer about 18 months later after he was diagnosed. But throughout that time, even though he was weak, he loved the talbina oats that I had made. His words to me were that your oats are like gold.
Shame.
And they ring in my ears, I promise you.
Okay.
Because it used to just give him such an appetite. He was not eating like a cancer patient. Normally cancer patients
can't really eat well.
They get very weak. He used to look forward to food.
Okay. So alhamdulillah, it is a sunnah to eat talbina, and there's definitely shifa in it. And, obviously tried and tested with yourself. So the journey to talbina, or the start of talbina, started out with your father-in-law who was unwell, and you've decided to add on and make it more palatable, and you found that it obviously helped him with his energy levels and also helped increase his appetite.
Correct.
So after the talbina, I know you're very, very known for your talbina. I think the first dish I ordered from you was talbina, and it was definitely very tasty and so easy, alhamdulillah, and it just had a little more than your usual oats that you eat. It had a little bit more of that flavor, and yes, definitely nutritional, because it kept me fuller for longer in the day, I would think, and I could feel that energy throughout the day of fasting. So apart from talbina, apart from the cancer patient, I see you have Zakia in studio today with us today, and she also has a bit of a story to tell regarding the benefit of talbina and how it's helped her.
So I struggle with IBS, and constantly I have tummy aches, and I don't have an appetite, especially in the mornings. I never ever have breakfast. But I started recently having my mom's talbina oats, and I actually noticed that I don't get tummy aches. And especially in Ramadan, I always just suffer with cramps after sehri. But recently I've been having the talbina oats, and I have had no cramps at all. So it is actually helping me.
So alhamdulillah, we can see whatever's been stated by our Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is definitely in there. I mean, the shifa is there with, we don't even have to say any further. So Zakia, apart from it being such assisting you with your IBS, you've obviously have some type of passion now for talbina because it's helped you get over the battles that you've had over time. So do you find yourself perhaps getting into the kitchen with mum and helping her out? I mean, she obviously has her hands full being a career woman, running more than one business, and now obviously starting up a home industry. Do you partake in that?
There is a lot of work for my mom, so we all we help, and as much as she needs our help, then we there to assist.
Okay, so always there for mum. All right. So Radia, just apart from Zakia coming in, do you prepare the dishes by yourself? Do you have any help? How do you go about it?
No, Sheena, I actually had staff last year.
Okay.
And due to my father-in-law's condition deteriorating, I gave up the premises on the elemental cuisine side with the staff. Because I still find that, you can't teach passion.
Yes.
I do want to start run it fully again soon, because it is my other passion.
Okay.
But I find that staff cannot do generally what you can, because it's your passion.
Yes.
Anything.
Yes.
Even when I'm on construction sites or anything with my normal career, it's what drives me. So I can lose sleep, I can lose food, I can go on for 24 hours, 36 hours and not think anything because it's my passion. So it's the passion that generally drives you for anything.
Yeah, definitely. If you have a passion, that's going to be your driving point to get you as to where you want to go.
So with the talbina oats as well, the nutritional value that it has, and it's amazing that I get feedback from clients that I've had quite a few patients that have taken it from me. I had an elderly gentleman who had a bypass about 18 months ago, and he had lost appetite completely, not eating at all, and his daughter ordered it from me, and the next day he was literally eating biryani.
Alhamdulillah. So it's obviously very rewarding for you to hear these stories that you've been making a difference to individuals with regards to their health and their energy levels. And I found recently you've obviously taken talbina to the next level now, where you're now offering it in a dry mix formula that we have here. So how would one actually prepare something like this? I know when I've placed an order with you, it was all ready for me and I just had to heat it and it's ready to eat. So is it as convenient? How long does it take? What inspired you to now put it in a dry mix formula?
Look, I've had a lot of out-of-town queries, and with the heat and eat, obviously it's milk-based as well, so there's a shelf life. So it's not readily available to people far away, they got to freeze it. It freezes very well, by the way. The heat and eat is still available. And people still find it convenient because it's all about the method of preparing.
Yes.
So, but the inspiring part of the dry mix is that it's very versatile. It can be added to smoothies. It can be made with, if people are lactose intolerant, they can make it with almond milk. And some prefer to have it just with water. So I've had to do a lot of research and put a lot of, it's been in the making for the past 6 to 8 months, And I finally launched it now before Ramadan. The convenience is that it had to be something that's convenient for my clients to make on their own.
Yes, and it obviously has to taste just like the heat and eat as well.
So it was a worry, but it has the same flavor. I don't know, you tried out the dry mix?
Yes, I have. I've tried both.
And it was easy to make.
It was very easy to make, but I must admit that one of my boys at home said, but why does this taste different? It's not like the one we got from Auntie Radia. So I think maybe it's your hand or that special coming from your heart or the passion that made it a little different.
I always say that from the onset of talbina oats that I created, it was always made with love, compassion and du'as.
Alhamdulillah.
And every batch that I make, I've always made that dua that, it must give a shifa to all that have it. It's been from within a passion, and I've actually wanted to start off a soup kitchen and also be able to feed those with malnutrition and send it to the
old age homes and
now, apart from old age homes and for widows and orphans
yes.
and things, but also up country or to countries in Africa
yes.
that suffer with malnutrition. So I've been speaking to welfare organizations, and also it's been endorsed by a dietitian.
Okay.
So she herself has it every day. And I also have a patient that's on dialysis that has it every day, and it's a feel-good feeling for them.
So alhamdulillah, when you speak to home industries, it generally starts with a passion for food or a passion for cooking. But what makes your story different to tell, or your journey, is that it started out with a passion for healing. And that's obviously your intent on taking your talbina mix to the next level. So have you perhaps considered getting your mix into hospitals, because there's obviously frail care there, and there's
we are in discussions with that, because there's a lot of if I may say products that are being sold in pharmacies that the dietitians have to recommend it for clients that are or for patients that are not eating,
right,
or that have no appetite at all, or that are ill or hospitalized for many weeks or months.
Yes,
but it's not palatable at all. They're expensive drinks, maybe
like in the shake form and so forth.
Whatever, from experience, I've had my father-in-law being in the hospital at one stretch for 32 days. And every day they brought him 3 bottles of this drink.
Yes, and he couldn't take it down.
He would just tell him, take it away and not.
Well, I guess with food, it has to be something that you can take down, and we all want to have something that tastes good. You're not going to be able to take something down that doesn't taste good.
The normal talbina powder is being sold, right? And that's just, you got to just make it into a porridge and have it.
And serve,
it's not, you can add honey to it or whatever, but with my mix, it's got so many ingredients that the levels of iron, phosphate, magnesium, potassium, zinc, all the minerals, all the vitamins, because of the different ingredients. Each ingredient comes with its own shifa,
Yes, yes.
So it's lowering blood sugar, it's neutralizing the blood sugar levels, it's lowering cholesterol, it's doing so much for the body, as well as low GI.
So in the month of Ramadan now, so I would think diabetics that are looking at fasting, this would be the ideal meal for them to start suhoor with. I mean, obviously it's so nutritional, it's got everything that you've mentioned in it. And I can tell you, I have it in the mornings, and you can feel that you're coping for the day. Your energy levels aren't dropping as such. So definitely a recommendation, I would think, for the morning meal in the month of Ramadan.
I've had clients phone and tell me or message me, and their husbands are addicted to it. They want to buy like 4 liters at a time and freeze.
Yes.
Because it's become not only a Ramadan thing.
It's also out of Ramadan, yes.
Or I've been making it for 2 years.
Okay.
And it's a constant thing, because I think it's also one of the ingredients. Also, it's a mood uplifting thing.
Okay, that warmth, it's very comforting now as well.
So there's a lot of nutritional value in every ingredient that's in there.
Okay, so Radia, just apart from talbina, just before we wrap up, is there any other signature dish that you have generally in Ramadan or out of Ramadan apart from talbina that's been a winner meal for you?
Well, generally with the cuisine, people used to love a lot of my food.
Okay.
And I just took a bit of a break this Ramadan, because I've got a lot on my plate.
Yes.
But my halim and my dal as well, it doesn't trouble the tummy.
Okay.
Because generally lentil-based foods
tend to cause bloating and so forth.
Yes, so I've always had feedback from clients that doesn't give them gas or anything, and no bloating feeling. Besides that, I do a lot of fusion foods. So I do private orders. Previously, I used to put out a weekly menu. And then time became a bit of a factor. But it's still my passion, and I miss it terribly.
Okay. So hopefully, inshallah, we're hoping that you'd be getting back onto your feet with your home industry. And I'm glad that you've continued with talbina, because it started out there and it's going to only get better and be able to grant shifa to so many individuals out there, inshallah.
Inshallah. Well, as soon as it hits the hospitals, at least we know the patients would be benefiting. I've given it to a lot of cancer patients as well.
Okay.
It's a very healing thing for cancer patients as well, you know.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Radia, for making the time to come out to us. Thank you, Zakia, for sharing your story about talbina. And inshallah, we're hoping more viewers could start having your speciality dish, and also keeping in mind the sunnah and the shifa of eating a meal like talbina, or adding it to your diet in the month of Ramadan.
By the way, Notion, I forgot to mention that Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam also said that it's a healing for those that are grieving as well.
Okay.
And that's where the mood uplifting comes up, you know.
Yes.
So it heals the heart, and so apart from just nutritional value, it's also an emotional thing, you know.
Okay. Alhamdulillah. Well, thank you so much, Radia. Thank you, Zakia, for making the time out to Modern and Modest. And inshallah, I'm sure we're going to get many viewers asking for your contact details as to where they can get your special talbina from. In studio today, we have an amazing and very talented woman, Tasneem Mansoor, a mum of 3, and I would think very inspirational, very empowering, who has started up a little home industry on her own, which actually started out with just loving food. So thank you, Tasneem, for firstly, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and thank you so much for making the time out to our lifestyle show here in Durban. And our viewers are waiting to hear from you. Like, who is Tasneem? How did it start? Where did the journey begin?
Walaikum salam. It's my pleasure. Thank you for having me as a guest on your show today. My love for all things food stems to early childhood. I would watch both my grandmoms on a Saturday morning in the kitchen preparing and transforming the simplest ingredients into feasts for their families. And I was most intrigued that neither of them referred to any recipes or measurements. And I'd come and ask them, but how do you make this? How do you make that? Please, may I have a recipe for this dish? And often I was met with a cup of, just a handful of that, or a cup of this, or a sprinkle of that, a pinch of that. And how do you cook like that?
Yes.
And I'd go back and experiment. And I found the more I experimented with these dishes from scratch, the more passionate I became about food.
Right.
And all these years later, I was able to transform that passion into a business. And alhamdulillah, I'm now doing something I enjoy daily.
Okay, okay. So, you know, amazing that you mentioned like a pinch of this and a cup of that. And you'd often find that when they prepared dishes, it doesn't usually taste the same every time they prepare it, but it had a bit of a change, but always a better change, I would think. I mean, their meals only got better and better. And in today's times, it's just so strange that we can't cook without having to follow a recipe. And yet we wonder, how did our mums and our grannies make such amazing meals? And they could spend the whole day in the kitchen and just whip up just about anything, and it would be amazing and it would be fantastic. So it's nice to hear that someone in, I would say, today's times still has that bit of story to tell, or you've taken a bit of those recipes and obviously combined it with yours. So Tasneem, coming back to recipes, is it something that you've created on your own? How do you come about with your recipes?
Most times they tried and tested and experimented, and I have the biggest critics at home. They're my biggest fans, but biggest critics too.
I would think they're your best critics.
My best critics. So I've been experimenting over the years, and I've developed a style of cooking that works for me and my family, and I've taken that into the business. So when someone does order a meal, they're getting something that I would eat. When they're opening up that meal, it's the same meal I serve to my family. So I try and stick to the basics, but using simple ingredients, fresh ingredients, good quality ingredients, not sticking to a recipe in particular, but trying to improve, as you say, each time I make that. And alhamdulillah, it's been working, and I'd like to think that's what sets me apart, or makes my business a little bit better and different. And it just grows from there and that point on. And when I'm upset, I'm busy in the kitchen. When I'm happy, I'm in the kitchen. When I'm sad, I'm in the kitchen. So everything revolves around food. And some of my best recipes are developed when I'm not even planning. You know, when I'm just making something quick and easy, and a recipe just comes up like that. So it works out just fine.
So inshallah, I'm hoping that you could one day tell us that you're ready to start up your own cookbook or your own recipe book for us to be able to follow. But I'm sure we're not going to have that personal touch of, you know, like you said, everything's done on your own, and you ensure that you do everything the same, that the same meals that you'd serve to your family are the same meals that you'd actually prep for your clients. So It obviously started out as a passion for you and led into a little business. So how long have you been running your business for?
The business started a very long time ago, in the as early as 2005. It began in a small kitchen in a little flat in Durban with a 2-year-old and expecting another baby. I needed something to supplement our income and fill the time that I had available during the day. And living in a block of flats, the aromas used to waft through the windows and doors. So I'd get my neighbors knocking and, what are you cooking today? Please sell us some of this. How do you make that? And that's how it started. And by word of mouth, it spread. And before I knew it, it had grown so much. I was supplying the holiday makers coming to visit at the hotels, doing corporate functions. And it just grew. And I carried on in that way for a good few years. And alhamdulillah, a few years later, I was expecting my third baby and I took a bit of a break. It turned out to be an 8-year break.
All right,
and
that's a long time for
a
you.
very long time. And I always felt that there was something missing. I needed to get back to it.
Yes.
And late last year, I said to my hubby, you know, Zayad is now at school.
Right.
And I need to do something. I can't sit like this every day and I can't just, you know, do nothing every day. So I need to get back into this. And he reluctantly agreed.
Okay.
And alhamdulillah, it's worked out so well. I started in September last year. And I've prepared for families 10 years ago. And they've come back, and I'm now preparing for their children who are married in their homes. And, you know, it's worked out so well, alhamdulillah.
So you've basically become, I would say, to certain families, like a personal chef, where they've gotten used to your taste and your style of cooking and your types of food. So, Tasneem, being the month of Ramadan now, what type of foods do you prepare? I mean, we all tend to keep to the typical halim or soup, and we have the savory. Some of us only keep to savories and halim, and some of us are leaning more towards healthy eating and wholesome foods. So what is your speciality for the month of Ramadan, and out of Ramadan, what do your meals comprise of?
During Ramadan, I'd like to keep a balance, or to have a balance. And I have a very mixed clientele, so it's not only those who are fasting, I have others who order as well. So I try and keep a selection of light snacks, maybe something made with dough, or something that's not very heavy, or light soups. Instead of your regular heavy fried meals, maybe something grilled, tortillas, quesadillas, you know, things like that, light meals. And then I back that up with a little heavier meal, so you have an option of taking a complete meal as well. So for example, a typical menu would be maybe a mini pizza, or a little pizza to break your fast, with maybe a bowl of soup, and then you go off to read your salah and you come back, and then you can sit down to a meal of chicken with maybe some pasta or, you know, some veg. And throughout the year in my menus, I like to keep a balance. So if a family is ordering every day, they're getting a balance. On a Monday, they're getting a pasta, a Tuesday, a rice. There's seafood in that week. There's lamb, there's fish, you know, there's a variety, so they're not getting bored, and there's a healthy balance. So I think people know what to expect, and the menu is out a week ahead of time, and they can plan and select as they want on that menu. And lots of times a client will say to me, you know, my child prefers this, or my husband prefers that. And I ask them for their recommendations and their suggestions. So there's one-on-one interaction. I'm always receiving feedback from them, asking them how they prefer their meals, and building up client profiles.
Yes, I think that's very important. So at least you can identify what they like, what they don't like, or even allergies for that matter. I mean, so many people have a wheat intolerance, or a seafood allergy, or a nut allergy, and I think having you do it personally makes them feel comfortable.
It makes a huge difference. The personal touch really does. And I love when a meal is ordered, and when they go home and they sit down to that meal, they're receiving exactly what they expected. There's no disappointment on their side, and they keep coming back for more. So for example, if you have a seafood allergy and you've ordered other meals on that day, I know you have that allergy. I prepare your meals first. You know, it's a lot of hard work.
I'm sure.
There's challenges daily, but I'm passionate about it. I love what I do. I enjoy it. And knowing someone on the other end is smiling when they're eating that meal, or, you know, they're feeling so satisfied, because food evokes happy memories. They bring out the best memories. And, you know, there's as often as we'd like to think we're evolving and we like healthy, and there's a movement and trend towards that, there are many people who still want traditional foods. And to give...
I think that traditional food just takes us back to our roots, and once you get back to your roots, there's those little happy memories that lie there, and that's what makes us happy, you know. So I guess that's probably why we still want that traditional food coming to our tables.
It's true. It's really true.
So how do you manage your time, Tasneem? I mean, I know that you're a mom of 3 and you're having to prepare these menus a week before. And I'm sure there's a lot of time in being mum, being a wife, running a home industry, preparing in advance with your shopping list and how planning the menu for the week ahead. How do you manage, how do you balance that time?
I'd like to think I'm doing well at what I do. I like to think that my kids are happy and, you know, all around I'm doing well. There are times where I face challenges. There are glitches. There are days where I just have to substitute something for something else or rely on a parent to help me out or my husband. But I'm a full-time mom. And I try as best as I can to finish off my part of the day before I even start that first school round. So their day is not disrupted. With regards to grocery shopping and meal prep and planning, I look for convenience. I source my ingredients locally. I have my butcher deliver to me weekly, sometimes twice a week. Fresh produce the same, packaging the same. So if I remove the element of going out to get something, it saves me time. And I just plan really well. I rely on a lot of feedback from the members on my chat, and my menus are very easily, I can develop menus very easily because they're always giving me suggestions.
Well, that's great, because at least you're getting someone from the outside, you know, sort of helping you to plan that menu a week ahead.
Yes, so that's how it works out really well. And I just take each day as it comes, hoping every day is better than the one before.
Well, I'm sure you're a master chef by now, having been in the industry for so many years. But alhamdulillah, you've come a long way, Tasneem, and you can only be encouraging and inspiring other women that feel that they're not able to. So if you're passionate about something, you can most definitely make that work for you. Now, we mentioned you balancing your time and how you go about your shopping list and so forth. And I think, well, benefit for you would be that your time out is the kitchen. So that is your me time. So that would always be your time. And I guess that's why you'd never tire from what you actually do. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Tasneem, for making it through to us. I'm hoping that we'd be seeing you more often on our weekly features. And maybe you can share some of your recipes with us or help us cope with how we could be happier in our kitchens and be able to prepare those lovely dishes that you generally talk about. So inshallah, we're hoping to get to taste them one day soon.
Jazakallah, thank you so much for having me. Inshallah, I look forward to being back soon.
Inshallah, Ameen. Well, that was Tasneem Mansoor for you. Amazing lady, very talented, we all can agree. And inshallah, we're hoping that we will get Tasneem back on one of our shows and maybe she can aid us with how to plan when we go on our next grocery shopping list. Maybe she can help us with what we need, what we should buy, what we shouldn't buy. So we're hoping to get Tasneem Mansoor back very soon in our studios. Thank you for watching and I look forward to seeing you next week, same time. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.